My name is Ryan Maxwell. I'm 18 years old. I live in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm so proud to say that I am legally blind. A few weeks ago, I graduated from Brooklyn College Academy High School, and in the fall, I'm going to be attending Binghamton University as an integrative neuroscience major. I was born legally blind, so my experience is a little bit different than some people who lost their vision later in life. Around the age of 2 or 3, my parents noticed some issues with my vision, and so they took me to the doctor, and my pediatrician recommended me for several tests, including a CAT scan. And after all those exams, I was diagnosed with several conditions, including optic nerve atrophy, nearsightedness, nystagmus, and night blindness. And what these conditions really meant for me, and still do mean to me today, is that I have difficulty reading, recognizing faces, identifying colors, and navigating in the dark. My childhood was, I would say, not very different from other young people with a disability. It was at first difficult thriving in the education system with the disability. I found that I had to learn to advocate for myself and my needs in the public school system, and that I had to get over a lot of hesitance and fear I had about being confident in my blindness. One thing that I did encounter was a sort of strange situation when it came to hobbies and extracurricular activities. Um, my parents made me participate in several extracurriculars. They really believed in having a well-rounded son. And so at first, I participated in extracurriculars and hobbies in the quote-unquote mainstream normal setting. So these were instructors and teachers and facilitators who did not have experience helping low vision students. So I played tennis, I went to track and field, I swam. Um, However, it was difficult to enjoy myself in these fields because of my disability. I was able to complete, I was able to do good. I was able to do as good as my actual abilities permitted and as good as other students, but it was just a challenge to have to try to explain myself to instructors and trying to communicate with instructors who had never worked with a person with blindness before. And then around the age of 8, I was very excited to be recommended to a music school called the Philemon M. D'Agostino Greenberg Music School, which was a community music school that only taught low vision and blind students. And I was just really overjoyed to be able to participate in that because music had always been such an integral part of my life. I was raised on music, and I finally, was able to face the epiphany that I did not have to suffer in quote unquote mainstream activities anymore. I no longer had to worry that instructors would not understand my disability and understand how to adapt those hobbies to fit me. And so after that, I really just fell in love with the arts. And I have been playing classical piano for about 10 years now. And I just was able to begin to express myself fully as a person with a disability. As I grew, I did participate in other hobbies and extracurriculars that were not necessarily tailored directly for people with disabilities. And I think that definitely had its merits because I was able to understand what it's like actually functioning in a sighted world. A lot of my friends went to a school specifically for people with low vision in New York City, and I believe that their experience has been difficult coming out of that school because it did not teach them to advocate for their needs and understand the real challenges that come with having a disability. It is unfortunate that we have to go this extra mile and deal with these struggles, but I am somewhat grateful that I had the opportunity to learn about those struggles and those hurdles early on so that it wasn't a rude awakening. So I did participate in dance and theater and so many other arts in middle school and high school. Unfortunately, I found a great disconnect with sports because many sports leagues and little leagues were not adaptive to my needs. And so, one of my hopes as I go off to college is that I can start trying new things that not have not felt accessible to me in the past. Another thing that I started to discover as I got into high school was other extracurricular activities that were related to activism and advocacy. Um, in my sophomore year, I joined the Ditmas Examiner, which is a local community newspaper paper based in Brooklyn that focused all on youth, right? It was youth run. It was run by all high school students in the Brooklyn area. And that was a great opportunity not only for me to discover my voice and flex my writing muscles, but it was also a great opportunity for me to understand really what outreach is and what it's like to really get your hands dirty and get into the community and understand community building and uprising and social justice movements. And so from that moment when I was working with the Ditmas Examiner, I really fell in love with activism and advocacy. And so the next year, I joined Middle College National Consortium, and we were working for about a year on trying to combat climate change. We organized a lot of outreach events and fundraisers to try to spark legislation and awareness for climate change and gentrification in New York City. And I think both of those experiences really helped me not only as a person, but as a person with blindness to understand how important activism is to life today, and that, politics is not something that's far away happening in DC, but it's really happening here, right? It's in the streets, it's in our homes, it's in our souls. And that has led me to my next volunteer experience with Bold Blind Beauty. This summer, I'm going to be working as an intern with Bold Blind Beauty's virtual work experience program. And I'm just really excited to start doing this. One of the things that drew me to Bold Blind Beauty was that our values really aligned when it comes to empowering people with disabilities and starting important conversations online. I am just really grateful for this opportunity to learn what it's like working in a corporation, what it means to outreach and to interact with the community, and really what it means to be a self-actualized blind person. And so I really just want to thank Bold Blind Beauty for this opportunity to have this internship and to share my story with all of you. And I'll see y'all on the other side of the revolution. Bye.